I'm very excited to introduce today's guest, Gabriel Vasquez. What was the expectation you had of Dubai before you came?
On the West, on that part of the world, when we look at Dubai and the Middle East in general, we have a very negative perception.
Brazilians going to the US is like Indians and Pakistanis coming to the UAE.
Brazilians wear shorts and flip-flops every time. So when I came here, the first place that I went was in a public building. So when I'm walking to the building, the security starts yelling at me, "This is a public building, you cannot wear shorts in the UAE." I say, "Yeah, you need to wear pants."
If you had to compare US and UAE, do you think UAE is better?
100%. How can you live in a country that you cannot walk safely on the streets, that you're always afraid of someone taking a gun and shooting at you? You just turn on the TV on the US or just open social media, you see like every week is a mass shooting on a school. I would say that Dubai is only the Dubai that we know because of Islam. Dubai is only the city that it is because of Islam.
What other aspects of Dubai were you like, okay, this is probably because of Islam?
The first, being very welcoming. Second, being a very safe place.
Why do you think that? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Karak with Mahreen show. I'm very excited to introduce today's guest to our new studio. This is our very first guest to be here in a new studio. This guest, he is a Brazilian who packed his bags and traveled all across the world to the UAE when he was just 19 years old, and he started his life from scratch. He built his company here called Spreed that helps people go viral. This company, Spreed, has garnered over 5 billion views for its users, which is insane, including for Karak with Mahreen. Very, very excited to introduce a very hardworking, very inspirational, and sometimes fun person. Let me please welcome Gabriel Vasquez.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you
The
very
only
much.
time I will be nice.
Yes. It's funny because I'm always on the other side listening, now being here. But thank you very much. I appreciate the invitation. Congratulations for everything. Going back to 1 year, taking this from zero, it's an amazing journey that
Thank
you're
you.
doing. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's the first time you're being kind to me. Thank you.
Ah,
So, very excited. Today, we're going to talk about some fun stuff. We're going to talk about your experiences coming to the UAE as a Brazilian. You've also been to Pakistan, you've been around this region. So, let's get right into it. So, you were 19. You came in UAE when it was like 2021, I think. In 2021, you arrived in the UAE. But just before you arrived, I want to understand what was going through your head. What was the expectation you had of the UAE, of Dubai, before you came?
oh, the expectation of Dubai. Yeah. You know, I think on the West, on that part of the world, when we look at Dubai and the Middle East in general, we have a very negative perception because of mass media and how this portrayed that. To be honest, I never considered coming to the UAE, but God made this plan for me. And before coming, I had these stereotypes that media would influence. Um, and I was not very sure because for me, when I look at Dubai, for example, it was just about the cars. It was about Burj Khalifa. It was about coffee with gold. It was about the big buildings. This Karak, yeah, but it was about coffee with gold. It was about these very luxurious things. But I didn't have in my mind that Dubai was actually a city that you can go and live, not just to be a tourist, right? Because especially from Brazil, when you think about Dubai, you think always in a party way, kind of. Not party, but what I mean to celebrate. You know, that person that became successful in life and they go to Dubai to celebrate. They wouldn't come to Dubai to actually work. That's why before there was not many Brazilians here. But now, after time is passing, it's just growing, and actually now I think there are 10 to 12,000 Brazilians here in the UAE. So this number is just growing. But coming back to your question, my perception before was completely different. Once I moved here, I understood the real game, what Dubai is actually about.
So you thought it was more of like a tourist place. You just come here when you've become successful, when you've achieved everything, then you come here. And you only stay here for a little period of time in your perspective.
Yeah, that was the general perception that I had because that's the general perception that Brazilians have. You know, you always see those people that became successful, had a big business, they made in life, you'd say. And then, okay, let me go to Dubai for 2 weeks, rent some cars,
You would
flex with some pictures.
you wouldn't see Dubai as the place where you're going there to actually build something.
Exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't see. Before my mind was very much about US. I always wanted to go to the US since I was very, very young to study, especially. And when COVID hit, I had some time to then stop what I was doing and focus on preparing to go to the US because at that point, US was the best country for me to go. But because I was very limited, I didn't know that there was this part of the world. And if I knew, I would never ever decide to go to the US to live and not here the UAE.
Mm. So, okay, so before you had this dream to go of going to the US, so why did you think that was the best country to go to? What was it about the US that you thought it's amazing and this is where I want to be?
I don't think it was about the US. I think because, especially when we are young, our minds are very like narrowed down, right? You are usually just listening. You are just like usually just following what is happening, maybe following the trends, following what the standard group of people would do. And in that part of the world, that's usually the place that Brazilians would go. Usually, Brazilians would go to the US, maybe Portugal, and maybe some other countries in Europe, but rarely here in the Middle East. Of course, there are some Brazilians here that are here for like 10, 20 years, but the standard Brazilian that would go out, they would go to the US. So for me, in my mind, when I went there for the first time, I was like, okay, that's an amazing place. I'd love to live here. And of course, it's very expensive. So I had to find a way to figure that out, especially with university. But when I was thinking about the US, not because the US was the place, simply because was what was, in my mind before. What the culture was kind of pressuring me to.
Like we've talked about this before that Brazilians going to the US is like Indians and Pakistanis coming to the UAE. That was the mindset that this obviously geographically it's closer, and when you look at the region that you're in and the countries that are closest to you, and you see which countries have the highest potential of growth, highest potential of opportunity, and for people in India, Pakistan, it's usually the Gulf, and then for I guess people in that side of the world, it's usually the US or Canada.
Yeah, spot on, 100%. And that's actually interesting. Why Indians come to Dubai? Because of it's very close. It's very easy for them. They already have a lot of families. Maybe they already have a lot of people that live here. Maybe family members, maybe friends. Why Brazilians would go to the US? Because they have some friends there. They have heard about it. So coming to the UAE, of course, I was not the first one, not at all, but I am the one who's kind of okay, coming in my group of in my
From
circle.
your, yeah.
Yeah, for my friend circle, the first one to come here and kind of explore the region. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
But I'm in
you
love
kind
now.
of brought that new perspective to your
Yeah,
town, to the people around you.
exactly. After coming here, I realized that okay, this is the place to live. And now, when I talk with anyone that says, "Oh, I want to go to the US. I want to go to the UK," I'm like, "Are you crazy?" Like, no, don't do that. Just come to Dubai for a week. You're gonna understand why.
But then why do you think, because I know you said that initially you wanted to go to the US,
Hmm.
then you experienced UAE and you're like, I'm so happy that you came here. But why would you discourage someone else from going to the US? Because do you think if you had to compare US and UAE, do you think UAE is better?
100%. How can you live in a country that you cannot walk safely on the streets, that you're always afraid of someone taking a gun and shooting at you? How can you live in a country that, I mean, with all respect, but all of these gender things are being taught since 5, 6, 7 years old? People are not even formed yet, and people already want to start. How can you live in a place? How can you create a family in such environment? You just turn on the TV on the US or just open social media, you see like every week is a mass shooting on a school. How can you live in a place and think that everything's fine, everything's okay? No, it's not okay. It's not a place that you're gonna like. Just the fact that here in Dubai, everyone knows this. Here in Dubai, you can simply walk with your phone with $10,000 in your hand in Dubai Mall, live on the corner, go for a walk, and come back to be there. There is no other place in the world that is like this. So it's not about, oh, don't go to the US, come here. It's not. I don't need to promote the UAE. I don't need to promote Dubai for people to come. Just compare the facts. Just open the news, just read what is happening. If not the news, just talk with people that have been to these both places, right?
Yeah, I think like even people here, if they a lot of people have that desire to go to UK or US, which is valid because obviously we grew up seeing that in movies and we have that desire. But once you do visit, you realize there you can't really compare it to the UAE because I've said this so many times before, but it's so accurate. Like Dubai, UAE spoils you. So when you do visit those other countries, you enjoy it to some extent, but you would always want to come back at some point in your life if you've lived in the UAE for enough portion of your life. So for example, for two plus years, I feel like if you've lived in the UAE for 2 plus years and then you go to a different country, you will after some point want to come back because once you get used to the lifestyle in the UAE, it's very hard for you to adjust somewhere else. You will adjust there, especially when you're young. But probably I would say that when you get older and you want to settle down and you want to have a family, you would want to come back to the UAE.
Yeah, 100%. Because I mean, the UAE is the place for this. But it's interesting because on this topic, I always hear some people saying that, oh, Dubai is very small, the UAE is very small, there's nothing to do. First, there's not true at all. There's so many things to do here, even like nature-wise. But the best thing is that Dubai is in the middle of the world. Geographically speaking, with a flight, like 6 hours, you are anywhere in Europe, you are almost in Japan, you are in the Maldives, you are in Africa. You can literally go anywhere from Dubai, very cheap, with a flight. And people still, and a lot of people say, oh, there's nothing to do in Dubai, it's very small, it's just the desert, it's just the buildings. Okay, maybe it's for you, but just take a flight, go back, so
It's very easy to travel, you're
it's
saying.
very easy to travel. And yes, Dubai can spoil you, of course, but then it's up to you what you're gonna do. Any place can spoil you. Anything in life, you have the good and the bad, and you need to decide your own fights. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense.
So then, okay, so so what were you saying exactly about your perception of the UAE? You said a lot of Brazilians hadn't been to the UAE. They wouldn't even think about the Middle East, obviously, because it was literally on the other side of the world. Um, but then what did you think of the UAE? So besides like okay, you were saying it's a party place, it's a touristy place. What did you think of the people of UAE that live in the UAE before coming?
Yeah. You know, I think as I was saying before, everything that I knew about Dubai and about the UAE was from social media, was from media. So when you think about like the people here, I didn't know because I haven't met anyone actually. But with the very negative, stereotypical view, when you look at a different culture, you tend to judge that culture, right? Regardless of which one is it. So, one thing for me, for example, of course, the costumes, what you would wear. When you look at, for me, especially like when I was still in Brazil and didn't come here, and I was researching, I was like, wow, this outfit, this clothing, is very different from what I was used to.
So what
Uh,
clothing specifically?
like the kandura, abayas. I didn't know why they used that because I was my mind was very, very small. This was like 3 years ago. And I was like, why would you want to wear the same thing every day? But like now I would. You don't need.
You wear the same shirt every day. What do you
Yeah, you
mean?
see? Now I just need to upgrade to kandura and then it's okay. But I mean, when I look at this side of I didn't know a lot, but when I look at, for example, the outfit, the wearing, the clothing, the clothes that people would wear, it's something that I was like, oh, that's very different. I didn't understand why. But when I came and I understood the entire history of why you wear the kandura, why you wear the agal, the gutra for the woman, why they wear the abaya, why they cover the hair, why every single thing is done the way it is, it makes a lot of sense. But a lot of people still judge. The first thing that people do is to judge without even thinking why is that.
It's human instinct.
Yeah, exactly. But you can take a
It's
30
wrong.
sec.
It's
It's wrong.
human.
Yeah, you can take like 15 seconds to just try to analyze and research. Maybe just do a quick TikTok search. You're gonna see. Yeah. But before that was a little bit what was in my mind.
So you're saying what kind of shocked you about the clothing was the fact that they wear the same thing every day. That's what was surprising about it. Was there something else that was kind of weird, different?
No, I mean, I didn't know, like, because if you imagine back home in Brazil, there's not a specific kind of outfit, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see another place with everyone wearing the same thing, you're like, oh, why is that first, right? You try to understand. I didn't judge or I didn't, anything. I was just trying to understand what was the thing, why was that, and then when I come here, then I realized why. And actually, there's a funny story because in Brazilians, like Brazilians wear shorts and flip flops every time, right? If you're gonna go out with your friends, you can still wear that and it's fine. So when I came here, the first place that I went was in a public building, but no one told me that you had to wear pants. So when
Of
I
course, you have
wear,
to wear
yeah, I
You mean
know
you wore shorts?
exactly. So when I'm walking to the building, the security starts yelling at me, "Oh, you go home, no, no," and I'm like, "What is happening?" Like I'm just walking to the building, and then the guy's yelling, and there was a lady behind me. I thought maybe that he was talking to her. So I was like, "Okay, it's okay." I was getting closer, and then he told me, "What are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "No, we are wearing shorts. This is a public building. You cannot wear shorts here in the UAE." And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I just came for my documents. He said, yeah, you need to wear pants. So then I asked him, okay, do you have some pants to lend me so that I can wear? He said, no. I said, okay. Can I buy some pants like anywhere here in a shop? He said, no. Then I told him, brother, what do I do? Go home, change, and come back. So that's what I did.
Was that something? How did you feel about that experience? Were you like, oh,
I was like, okay, I need to read more.
yeah, and maybe just not wear shorts? And also, it's like I kind of understand, even though I'm like, whatever you wear shorts, whatever, doesn't matter. But for certain situations, it makes sense to not wear shorts. You know what I mean? I think it's just hard for Brazilians to understand.
Because Brazilians, like, you have the beach, you have the nature, you just wear shorts, flip flops, normal shirt. That's it. That's what you need.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about the perception that you had before coming in, right? Like in terms of clothing, in terms of the country, the people. But then when you came to the UAE, what did you then think of the UAE? What did you then realize that, oh, this is a complete misconception? That's not how it is. What were those misconceptions?
I think the biggest misconception about people in the UAE and the biggest misconception about Arabs, I would say, is that they are very aggressive people. That's what I would listen before. I would hear before. I would read. That's again because of media that they are very aggressive people, but that's not true. To be honest, it's actually the opposite. Because when I moved to Dubai, the first thing that I could see is everyone welcoming me, giving some tea, giving some coffee, inviting to go to their homes to eat something with them, or to just explore the city. And the most beautiful thing is that they are very proud of the city that they are building. They're very proud, so they want to show you, but not in a show off way. No, in a very humble way. It's like, look, this is our place, and you are invited to also explore. So I think this was one of the biggest things that I realized, and it was very interesting because like since day one I was here, people would bring food, people would bring like majbous, people would bring mandi, people would bring biryani,
Karak,
karak, samosa to try, and that was like very heartwhelm. What is it? How to say?
overwhelmed,
No, 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 heart.
heart.
Yes, exactly. So very warming to kind of go to a new place, and people are so welcoming. That's very different, right? Because when you look at other countries, like for example the U.S. with Mexicans, they want to ban Mexicans. Like Trump now, he's gonna want to remove and close the border and everything. But he's the opposite. They want more people to come. They want more people to also enjoy the country that they are building.
And that's
So I
actually
think
very beautiful.
that was one of the biggest things that in my mind.
That's a beautiful comparison that you made, actually, because um it's not just about how like UAE is great, the people are great and stuff, but also how welcoming it is, which people forget, because that's not actually very common when you look at Europe, when you look at North America. That's not usually common where in most places that you go to I know it depends on city to city, but most places that you would go to in a European country or in a North American country, people are not always welcoming. Like they they very much believe that this country is their country, and so it's only people who look like them, who are from that country, things like that. So you don't see that sort of like openness and tolerance everywhere, which is a unique part aspect of UAE that people forget about?
I think that usually, not usually, but like I would say that Dubai is only the Dubai that we know because of Islam. Dubai is only the city that it is because of Islam, especially when it comes to this um, hospitality and being welcoming, and really doing things in the correct way. I was thinking this the other day that the biggest reason that the culture here is so strong, of course, you have amazing leaders with a vision and you have continuity, right? It's not like a different country that 4 years come and then 4 years change and then right,
Path
left,
completely
or yeah,
changes.
exactly. But I think what I could see is that the fact that the religion influences a lot the day to day, it's a very positive thing. Of course, it can be a bit tricky in other places, but they're able to really do a good job here because this influences the culture a lot. And that's actually something that I realized. I mean, with some other countries that I've been around here, like Maldives, which is a Muslim country, Egypt, Pakistan, I felt that all of them, they are very welcoming. They are somehow safe. At least you feel that you're safe. And I would imagine maybe there is even more research to back up, but that this would be a little bit about the religion aspect because of the culture, how this influences the culture on the day to day as well.
So you're saying like Muslims are welcoming, which is why you felt well.
Yeah, actually, like Muslims, they are very welcoming, and I think this is what plays a crucial role here in the city as well in Dubai.
So what? So you're saying that Dubai is the way it is because of Islam. I want to break that down a little bit. What aspects of Dubai is the way it is because of Islam? Like, what aspects of Dubai do you see? I know one aspect you said is welcoming. Dubai is very welcoming, and that's because Muslims are very welcoming. So that there's a correlation there. What other aspects of Dubai were you like, okay, this is probably because it's because of Islam?
I think, as you said, like the first, being very welcoming. Second, being a very safe place.
Mm. So you think the safety is because of religion?
Safety, I think the safety here in the UAE is it a big part is to do with the religion.
So why do you think that?
I mean, I feel like because when we kind of like break down safety of a country, of course you'd have in one side police and the systems that will put everything in place. So here's a place that if you do something, you're gonna get the penalty. So Dubai is a place that if you do, you're gonna need to pay off later. If you do good, you're gonna have to pay off good things, good deeds, good things will come. But if you do bad, then you're gonna need to pay for that, right? So this comes because of the system, because of the police, because of the laws, because of everything here. But on the other side, we see the culture that is heavily influenced by the religion here. So when you look at the safety, I think it's mainly to do with the mindset that people have that okay, these are all brothers, these are all sisters, these are all like everyone is here together. Of course there are some fights, of course there are some traffic problems that everyone would find and yell, and some small robbery here and there, but overall I think when you just see the way that Islam influences the mindset of people here, it plays a very positive.
Hmm. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, I want to talk a little bit about how I understand that in the UAE aspect, but I want to understand that in when we talk about like Pakistan, for example, because I know you've mentioned you felt safe in Pakistan.
Yeah, I don't know, because when you look at the data, Pakistan is one of the most dangerous countries in the world, but I didn't feel like this when I went there.
Do you think it's because you're a guy?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, yes, for guys it would be in a way. For girls and women, and men and women, it would be very different the perception. Um, but at least for me,
So
my
you didn't
experience,
feel.
I felt somehow safe. I felt like okay, like sometimes in Brazil I would walk. I would put my phone on the pocket and like even walk with the hand inside to make sure nothing's gonna happen. There's no pickpocketing. There's not anything like this. I would walk like looking back, looking straight, especially if like 7, 8 p.m. Really taking care. But when I went to Pakistan, I was fine. Like I didn't care. I did maybe I was like maybe I was just a random tourist like in a very dangerous place, almost robbed.
No, but also maybe that depends on the city you went. Did you feel that in all the cities you went to? So tell me a little bit about the cities you went to in Pakistan. You went to.
Lahore, Islamabad, Hunza, Gilgit. And when I would walk in Lahore, it was fine.
So Lahore, Islamabad, you felt safe.
Yeah, Lahore was a very safe place. I'm not sure if it was, but I felt at least.
And how did you feel in Islamabad?
Islamabad was very fast. We just stayed
Oh,
one
just
night.
a
Yeah,
night.
it was not actually like to explore.
Mm-hmm.
But in Hunza was like something else. In Hunza was like in the village, and with the beautiful mountains, and it was crazy because we went to a hotel there that there was no one. The guy literally opened the hotel for us. It was like a five-store, like 5 floors. I don't know, maybe 25 different apartments. We were the only ones there.
The hotel was locked up because there was no one in the hotel.
Yeah, so they had to open.
Okay, so maybe that's why you felt safe in Hunza because there was like no one.
No, but Hunza is very.
No, but it's yeah, the villages, the northern parts of Pakistan, it is actually quite safe. It's one of the safest places, not just in Pakistan, I think in the world.
Wow, it's a big claim.
Because I've read a lot about particularly like Hunza Valley, these sort of villages in Pakistan, and when female travelers go there, they feel incredibly safe. Female solo travelers. So I've heard that repetitively. But okay, so let's talk a little bit about your experience in Pakistan then. You went to Pakistan. You went in 20.
I went there last year, 2023, April.
Okay.
My birthday was there, so it was pretty good.
So you celebrated your birthday in Pakistan.
It was actually in the airport coming back, but yeah.
So what was your what idea did you have of Pakistan before you went? What did you think you'd see? Um, what was your perception of the people you'll meet there?
So I think because I've been here in the UAE, because I've been here in Dubai, and like in Dubai, I don't know, 60% are Southeast Asians.
South Asians. Yeah.
I already had like a very good contact with them, so I would expect very good things from the people. From the like how welcoming it would be. I was sure that's gonna be very welcoming when I went to Pakistan, when I would go, because even like in the UAE, when I meet someone from Pakistan, when I meet someone from India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, they're always very warm. They're always, very friendly. They're always trying to help you if you need something. And at least with me, the opposite is also very true. Like I always try to help and everything. So based on this, because this was my perception before, I had very high hopes that in Pakistan I would be treated well, because it would be very welcoming as well. And I was completely correct. 100% correct, not wrong. 'Cause, I remember like
Yes. Huh.
ended in Pakistan, people already, started like, oh, like hello, started saying hello.
Like in the airport,
The airport started welcoming.
random people would say hello to you.
Yeah, like yes, yes.
So like it was just you, or like your group.
Me and my friends, we were like 5, I think.
Okay. So you would just be walking and people would say hello? Is that like how did that what exactly do you mean by the by
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you go to a place and then people are really like they look at you, but with good eyes, meaning they're happy that you are there, and you can feel that you feel welcome, even though maybe some people will not talk to you. Some people, yes, they would come, they said hello, welcome to Pakistan, because they could see that I was not from there. But even for people that would not say anything, you could feel that.
Mm.
I mean, there were some small issues in the airport.
Like what?
It took some time for us to actually enter Pakistan. In the airport, that when we arrived in the airport in Pakistan, I don't think they knew what to do with me and my group of friends, because I think, at least maybe, okay, maybe I think that not a lot of people was going there. So when we arrived, we went to the line, foreigners line. We waited for 30 minutes, and when we arrived, oh no, you should go to that other line. So then we went to the locals line. We wait 15 minutes. Oh no, you need to go there. And I was like, brother, I just came from that line. Why? Oh no, you need to go and print a document. And I was like, my visa is here. What do you need? You need to go there and print. I said, okay. So then I went. I printed something. Then I came back. Okay, now you can come. Now you can go. So
I never experienced that you had to print a document like cuz they usually huh?
you're Pakistani, so.
In Pakistan like not because like because
Uh,
usually they accept and like documents on your phone.
yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's okay,
I
so
should ask you
that
why
was a
that happened.
cute bro, I'm not like the whole representative of the entire Pakistan. Okay, so you went to Pakistan and So your perception before was that people are very friendly, very kind, very nice. When you reach there, you that your perception was right. Yeah, it was confirmed. A lot of people were nice. So what did people do that was so nice in Pakistan? How were people like to you?
No, I mean, in Pakistan, people were always very welcoming.
Like what did you?
Like you arrive in a place, they offered you karak, they offered you something. They want to show you the place. They want to come say hello, how are you? Where are you from? They want to ask. They want to talk with you. They want to interact with you.
There, I feel like when especially someone who lives in Pakistan, when they see a white person,
Mm.
become curious. I think there's a lot of curiosity as well when a foreigner comes to the country. Not in a negative way, in a respectful way, where they're like, "Oh, we want to know about who this white person is." So
But I'm not white.
no, like you're like physically white, they would be like, "This is a foreigner." You can tell you're a foreigner.
No, of course, yeah, but you know that's the same thing in Brazil because like both Brazil and Pakistan, they don't have that many foreigners coming as Dubai, for example.
That's true.
Dubai, like here, no one bothers if there is one or one more or one less foreigner because you just have like 90% are already foreigners in the country.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to a place like Pakistan or Brazil, that you don't have many foreigners, and when you see anyone, it kind of becomes the attraction, right? Not in a bad way, in a good way, because it's like that person took the time to go and explore the country. Um, so yeah.
So, what was something about Pakistani culture that that stood out, that left a really big impression on you when you went to Pakistan?
One thing that stood out.
Something about Pakistani culture that left a big impression on you that was different.
Well, I think, I mean, because when I think about Pakistan, I think about the beautiful mountains. I think about the beautiful nature. I think about the beautiful country that it is, the good food, the very good hospitality. If I had to be honest, like if I had to summarize my entire experience to Pakistan in one single word, it would be Humza.
Mm.
Because when I think about Pakistan, I cannot forget about the north, about the mountains, about that beautiful place that is untouchable by the man. It's not like in Europe that you go and everything is like built. It's not bad, it's good. Like everything have the chalets, everything's very fancy, everything is, expensive to go, commercialized. Exactly. In Pakistan, especially in Homs, is very different, right? So when I think about Pakistan, I know you're asking about the culture element, but when I think about Pakistan, something that really stood out to me was how beautiful it is and how people don't notice this sometimes.
Mm.
Especially foreigners. A lot of people they wouldn't look at Pakistan with good eyes, especially when you think about tourism and this kind of stuff. But if you come to Dubai, just take like a 1 hour flight and then you're in Pakistan. Why not?
It's worth visiting.
100%.
How did you feel about going to the north? Because I know it's a very dangerous route, a very dangerous journey. How did you feel about that?
Well, the funny thing about going to the north, going to Hunza from Lahore, it was that I didn't know how long it would take. That was the funny thing. Because when my friend told me, look, I think, guys, we should go to the north. And I was like, where? Show me pictures. Then I saw. And I was like, okay, we need to go. How far is it? They told me 6 hours.
Mm.
And I was like, 6 hours. We're going to travel for like only 6, 7 days. 6 hours to go, 6 hours to come back. I'm not sure if it's worth it. The next day, no, guys, sorry, it's going to be 8 hours. And I was like, are you sure you want to go? I said, yes, let's go. I said, okay, let's just go. But I swear, when I entered the van, 5 a.m., the driver tell us, okay, guys, next stop, Hunza, 15 hours. And I look at him, I was like, I'm sorry? Yeah, what do you mean? Yeah. How many hours you said? 15.
Mhm. You guys do good research before.
No, then I look at my friend, I was like, how 6 hours became 15? Like, what happened? Like, I understand maybe 1 hour, 2 hours traffic, but 6 to 15, like, what happened? What was the misconception? Like, what was the problem? But, it was fine. I mean, besides being the most dangerous road in the world, those videos that you see, like, the very tiny road in the top of the mountain, that if you go, like, 1 meter down, masalama, bye-bye, you go up, that's like this. But, alhamdulillah, was everything.
Alhamdulillah, you're here.
You're back. I'm here to tell the story.
So, okay, so it took you 15 hours to reach
15 hours to reach Humza.
but it was worth it.
100% I would go back.
Hours back as well.
It was worth it. Yeah, 15 hours back as well. Maybe even more. I don't know.
Okay. So it was worth it for you to go to Hunza. Yeah, amazing. So one thing so obviously you met a lot of like Pakistani people there, and you've met a lot of Pakistani people here in the UAE as well.
Okay.
Like there was a difference in Pakistanis in UAE and Pakistanis in Pakistan.
Oh, wow. Good question. I think you would better tell me this. you know,
Oh, but
for me,
I'm just curious to see from like an outsider point of view.
I think I'm not like, to be honest, I didn't find any like, oh my god, people in Pakistan were like this and Pakistanis in the UAE they're like this. No, I felt they were both very similar. But one thing that of course is very different for anyone who moves abroad, the world is different for you. If someone lives in a small village in Pakistan and they move to Dubai, halas, the world is different. You change your perspective. Same thing for me when I was in Brazil. My perspective was okay. I'm in this city. I know everyone. My city has like 600,000 people. That was my normal. Okay, I have São Paulo, which is the biggest financial capital in Brazil. I have Rio, which is a very nice place to go to have some fun, to explore. But that was my normal. So when I came here, I realized, okay, everything's very different. That world was very small. World's much bigger. And I think the same would be applied for someone in Pakistan, for example, in a small village that moved here. I think the entire perception about the world and what they can achieve, it will be much bigger. But directly answer what you asked. I didn't feel such a big difference. But how for you? Did you notice? Like, do you think there's a very big difference?
I mean, yeah, like there's a big difference between Pakistanis.
What's the difference?
People make fun of like people in Pakistan. It's a big joke, making fun of Pakistanis who live abroad. A lot of them call them burgers. We have this term. So Pakistanis who try to act like they're not Pakistani or try to act more whitewashed, people call them burgers.
Oh, like I met a Pakistani the other day that he's French.
Okay.
So his accent like full French and he's Pakistani.
Okay, so he's
It was very. I think so. Maybe
not just like your accent. Oh yeah, of course it can.
you just said about your accent.
I said accent. I said okay, whatever. It can be, of course,
I
accent.
don't know.
Also, the way you act, the way you talk, like a lot of it. So, you guys have a similar term in Brazil. You have like vanilla or something. I don't know what.
Uh, Nutella high. Oh, so no, this is not for someone who lives abroad, but in Brazil there is a very big distinction. If you are someone with your own culture, doing things on the correct way,
Yeah, that your culture
doing things in a like a
whitewashed.
whitewashed way.
That's exactly what burger is.
But we don't do this for like we don't use this term for someone who is inside and outside of Brazil. It's just the day to day. We call Nutella, which would be like the burger way.
Yeah, yeah,
What's the original one?
yeah. Same. Like it's not just people who live abroad. It can also be Pakistanis in Pakistan, but it's just more likely to be people who live abroad.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I think the mindset can also be different. Pakistanis living in Pakistan versus
For sure.
UAE. But I think no matter where you are in the world, if you're a Pakistani, there's a lot of traits in your culture that stay within you, like the trait of hospitality, the habit of welcoming guests. And I feel like all Pakistanis in all parts of the world are like that. That hospitality thing is always there.
Yeah.
And I guess like no matter where you go, you take little pieces of your culture, like the food element. How was the food in Pakistan? How did you find the food there?
You know, I love Pakistani food. The only problem for me is the oil. The good aspect of this kind of food is the meat. 'Cause I love meat. In Brazil, it's the same. You have a lot of meat, so that's really good. But the only problem for me was the oil. Like, with all respect, I love Pakistani food. I love the rice. I love biryani. I love naan. The other day, I just ordered at home, to eat. I love this. But when it comes to the amount of oil, that's not healthy. Like there is a level that you can go to the extreme, but not on your day to day. You know what I mean? But that's why actually a lot of people in Pakistan that have heart issues because the food is heavily with oil, right? But I loved. I'm sorry, but I love the food. Like I think on my 7 days there. So actually, I was very careful when I went to Pakistan to eat because I my dream would be to go all of the food stalls on the streets, street food, and eat everything. But my stomach's not prepared for that, for the spices and for just the way things are prepared. I would say.
So you didn't have the
So yes, I didn't have
street food.
because I'm like, okay, if I have anything in the first, second, third day, I might ruin my entire trip.
Hmm.
Let me save.
Ick.
I
No,
was not. Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course,
that's what I do.
See. So when you go, do you have stomach problems?
Yeah, all the time. But like, I just don't eat. Usually, I just literally don't eat anything. I just eat at home eggs because I'm too scared to try the food.
See, if you were like this, imagine from. But I was trying everything.
Yeah, because that's like the one
But for
get to go. That's why.
you can go back. It's very cheap. It's good. But for me, when I went there, my dream was to eat everything from out, like street food. But I didn't because I wanted to make sure that the trip would be good. So I was very careful to eat from specific places, like a restaurant, hotel, to make sure that I would be able to enjoy my trip. Even though my dream would be to go to Pakistan and just eat street food.
There are like these medicines you can take before you have the food.
Okay, good to know.
Caution. I
Share with me later.
would do that.
Share with me. I will take it.
It's a solution. This is the thing about Pakistani is, we I know you're saying we have a lot of oil in our food, but we just believe that we can take medicine and we'll be fine. We truly believe that. I think that it's we believe that you can eat the oiliest food, the spiciest food, the most, the junk as possible, but it's fine if you have Gaviscon afterwards. If you take this gas syrup afterwards, you'll be fine. That's just the thing in our. That's why I think we don't really change the amount of oil that we put. We continue to put the same amount of oil even up until today. We've seen a lot of problems in terms of cholesterol, high blood pressure, but our habits don't change.
That's a problem.
I know it's a problem, but it's like, how can you change such good food?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Yeah, but you don't need to eat this every day, right? You can change it slightly. I don't know.
But like, that is the traditional food. The thing is that you try
Yeah, I try
the foods, which of
eat this on the day to day.
that's the food that you've tried are very special. Like kadai, that's special.
But the funny thing actually, when I went to Pakistan was Ramadan time, and I was with my friends, my Muslim friends there, and it was funny because we were in the hotel, and then we told the guy to every day, like my friends told the guy to every day wake them up for sahari, right, to eat the food. But my sleep is very light, so whenever they would like the guy would come knock the door maybe 4 a.m. I don't know, I would wake up every time and have breakfast.
So you were the
They would not. They would simply go to sleep, but I was the one there, even though I was not fasting.
so you weren't fasting, but you were having sehri.
Yeah, I mean, I was fasting because I didn't want to ruin the entire experience of the group. Everyone was Muslim besides me and my other friend. I didn't want to, okay, guys, I need to eat. No, what do you mean? Like just fast as well. Um,
But what did you think of the concept of fasting in Islam when you first got exposed to it? When you first saw someone fasting, probably when you came to UAE, you saw that. So
I mean, I think the concept of fasting in Islam is very similar to the concept of fasting in Christianity. We have the Lent for 40 days. Depending on part of Christianity, you do different things. But for example, I'm Catholic, and for us, we would remove something that you really like, that's really a part of your routine. And for me, for example, sometimes I would remove meat because like I eat meat like crazy. So I would remove meat because this would be a good way of sacrifice,
mm,
right? So I think the whole idea of fasting, it's really to bring ourselves to a humble stage. Remember that we don't have everything. We should not have everything. Remember that we need to sacrifice. as God, as Jesus, as of course, depends on the faith, but that we need to sacrifice, that we need to have sacrifice in our own life, and this makes us stronger. So it's very interesting because when I talk with my friends, like for example, Muslim friends, they would say that like during Ramadan is a very beautiful moment for me because I would strengthen my faith. I would strengthen my even my consciousness, like my habits. I would strengthen myself, even though you're not eating for like maybe 16 hours in a day. And that's the same thing for me in Christianity. When I have the land and I remove like meat that I love the most, it's a moment that for me is a big sacrifice.
Mm.
But I'm doing that sacrifice with a very, like in a very intentional way.
Yeah, it's a clear intention in mind.
Exactly.
Control you
Self control, yeah.
ability to control yourself, to have more self-awareness, and also it's a state um of cleanse because fasting is not just clean, it cleans your body as well, because obviously you're controlling, you're not like overeating every day, you're controlling the amount of food that you're eating every day, so it cleanses your body, but it also cleanses your mind and soul. So there's the spirituality aspect of it, but there's also the the physical health aspect of it, when it comes to fasting in Islam, which the way you're saying is similar to Christianity. But what did you think of the idea that we wouldn't eat anything, like not food, not water, for from sunrise to sunset? Because even though there is similarities, but that would still be a unique concept. What did you think of that, though?
I mean, I found beautiful. It's beautiful to see, how people are willing to sacrifice for the faith that they have. And to be honest, like the Ramadan is a very fun time. Like, because basically the city, to be honest, that's not something that I was used to, but Ramadan is a very fun time because from the morning until like 5, 6 p.m., everyone's like dying. Of course, that's not the fun part. But when it's 6 p.m., after uh, iftar,
We're not dying. Like, what do you mean?
no, but the places are empty. Everyone's working or at home or preparing food. But when iftar comes, it's like, break your fast. Now is the moment to celebrate.
Yeah,
So it's,
it's such a fun.
yeah, if,
It's like a little celebration that we have every single day
exactly.
with your friends.
No, and the nice thing is that after iftar, the city is completely different. Like if you look at Dubai, Sheikh Zayed Road during Ramadan, 12 p.m. is one thing. When you look at like 12 a.m., it just looks like 12 p.m. on a Friday, on a normal time. You know what I mean?
When it's not Ramadan.
Exactly. Very, very busy. And it's very nice. So this goes even like a bit more to the cultural aspect, right?
Mhm. Like the whole routine schedule completely switches. People stay up all night.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to stay up all night. Like, um, the way that we have like 5 times a day we pray, right? And so technically it's like in Isha time, Isha, which is usually in 8 9 p.m. whatever. Um, after that, it's time for you to sleep. Even the prayer timings are structured in such a way to align with the timings you should be sleeping and the timings that you should be getting up. So for example, the Isha time, after that is when it's good to be sleeping. And usually people say it's good to sleep by 9 10 p.m., right? And then the Fajr time, which is 4 a.m., it's if you sleep early, obviously you'll be able to wake up at that time, and it's good for your body, for your mind as well, to be waking up before sunrise. Everyone has said this. There's so many books about it, the 5 a.m. club, all of these things. So even the prayer timings, there's benefits to it in terms of our physical health.
Yeah. 100%. And fasting as well. The fasting has a lot of
Thing with
benefits.
fasting,
Yeah.
yeah.
The same thing for fasting.
Talk about since we are talking about religion, if you had, what similarities did you see between Islam and Christianity?
Oh, that's a good one. Um, there are so many similarities between Christianity and Islam, and people don't know about it. People would always, like on both extremes, people would look, usually, of course, I think Christians would have a more negative perception about Islam, which is very wrong. But I just think that the way that, people are biased, and I'm sure maybe there are some also negative stereotypes from the other side. But I think some similarities, I think, first the values. The values on both religions are very similar. They're both family oriented. They're both the way that the faith is spread, the prayers, the way you execute is very different, of course. The way that you do, the traditions are different between both religions. Um, but on the beliefs, they're very similar. Yes, there are differences, of course. One would think that Jesus is God as well. The other one would just see Jesus as a prophet. But there are many similarities, especially when it comes to the values. I think that both religions would hold, um, and how this is shown on the day to day, kind of. Because I think that both for Muslims and for Christians, this influence a lot their day to day. So they would be more maybe humble, maybe they would be more hospitable, maybe they would be more, warm with other people, maybe because of the religion. And both of them share this similarity.
So you're saying, what are the values that are similar? The family values.
Yeah, I think like both being family oriented.
So Islam and Christianity, they're both.
Yeah, both Islam and Christianity value a lot family. Both Islam and Christianity value a lot the traditions that each one of them have, even though they're different, right? So, and both of them they come from the same place, right? Both of them are Abrahamic religions that they came from the same beginning. They both use a very similar book, the Old Testament.
Were you surprised to see that there were a lot of similarities before?
Yeah, because the way that the West portrays Islam and portrays this part of the world, it's unfortunately very biased in a negative way, and it's very unfortunate. And to be honest, this is maybe even because they're afraid. Because to be honest, like if you see, Islam is the religion that is growing the fastest in the world, and this part of the world is also playing such an important role, economic wise, and business wise, and geographically wise. So maybe even because like the West is afraid, and of course, since the beginning, they were always like, oh, look at this, look at that, and portrayed in a negative way, which is very sad. Um, but I think before, my perception about Muslims were very different than what it is right now. Because my mind was very closed. Again, I was in a small city I have never met before any Muslim before coming here. I haven't met any Muslim before coming to Dubai. So my mind was very closed, was very like narrowed down. But when meeting, you just see that we're the same with all of the difference, of course, but we are the same. You know what I mean?
You're humans at the end of the day, and
Yeah, of course.
and also just the fact that, as you were saying, values. There's a lot of the fundamental values of most religions are quite similar.
Fundamental values. Yeah, that's a good word.
So, and that especially with Islam and Christianity, especially with the Abrahamic religions, you see a lot of that, a lot of those links. But not just in the values, even in a lot of the things, that the teachings, the beliefs, there are quite significant similarities. But the main doctrine, of course, both religions, they believe in one God, but the main doctrine, um, of what we believe in, that does vary. But overall, there's still a lot of the teachings that can be similar.
No, I just think that is very unfortunate. I think regardless of Christianity and Islam, I think just in general, it's very unfortunate to see people fighting because of religion. I think from the moment that you want to impose something towards someone else, it's already wrong. Regardless if you're black, white, Indian, Pakistani, Brazilian, Mexican, yellow, pink, whatever color you are, whatever religion you are, from the moment that you want to impose something, it's wrong. Like I cannot come here and say that my religion is better than yours because of ABC. No, it's already wrong, right? You have your own belief. I have my own belief. Everyone has their own beliefs. Maybe someone is wrong. I don't know, but that's not the point. The point is that we need to respect, and that's something that I learned a lot because again, when I moved here and I started to interact with 200 different nationalities at the same time, like in Dubai, it's crazy. You sit on a table and you have 15 people, 16 different nationalities. Some people have two nationalities, you don't know. But it's crazy. So you start to actually interact with this and get used to and respect everyone.
The thing is, there's a difference between trying to educate someone, not educate someone, but spreading knowledge and awareness, versus imposing something. So, of course, you can be willing to learn about someone else's culture, someone else's religion. It's important to have that curiosity, to have that willingness to learn, and hear about, okay, what is Christianity like? What is Islam like? Just being able to, want to learn, having that desire to learn, versus being in a room where someone is just imposing it on you. So educating versus imposing are two different things. So definitely it's the way that you do it, and as you travel you understand that more, for sure, right? Okay, so we talked a little bit about Islam. I want to go back to Okay, I want to go back to, let me think actually. Let's go back to Pakistan. Um, so actually, let's go to UAE, right? So when you came to the UAE, and one thing that you mentioned in the beginning of this conversation was about how before going to Pakistan, you already met a lot of Pakistanis because you were here in the UAE, right? I wanted to know if you found it surprising that you met a lot of, there were so many Indians and Pakistanis here. Like, how did you feel about coming to the UAE and, you know, instead of meeting a lot of Emiratis, you met a lot of Pakistanis and Indians? Do you feel like it was hard to embrace Emirati culture when you came here?
No, it was very easy. It was very easy. Emirati culture is very easy to embrace. You don't embrace if you're like, I don't know, if you think that yours is better. I don't know if you are dumb enough to think that, because no culture is better than other one. But Emirati culture is so beautiful, especially because of, again, very welcoming, very, humble, very simple yet profound. And you need to fall in love with this. Like, whenever someone is very respectful towards you, the easy thing.
So what I mean by embracing, I mean, was it hard to find Emirati culture? Was it hard to find local culture when you came to the U? Because usually when people travel here, that's one of the complaints I always hear, that they're like, "Oh, we don't see Emiratis, we don't see locals. Where's the local culture?" And one of the reasons because there's so many expats here, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if you come to Dubai and you're just going to Burj Khalifa, you're not coming to Dubai. You're not going to be able to see the Dubai culture if you just go to Burj Khalifa, Atlantis, and Dubai Mall. Of course not. When you come to the UAE, you need to explore everywhere. And you need to stay here at least 7 days, 14 days, I don't know, because the country is so rich with each uniqueness elements that they have, that the country has. So people would complain, yes, Dubai, there's no culture. Oh, maybe it's hard to find. But they're just going to the wrong places. For example, when my family came, we spent some days here and then we went to Abu Dhabi. And Abu Dhabi is already very different than Dubai. Dubai is this like non-stop city with very high skyscrapers, maybe like Singapore or like countries like that with this kind of building, and like everywhere you see are taller, like the tallest building in the world, the biggest mall in the world, the biggest aquarium in the world, which is amazing, by the way. But when you go to Abu Dhabi, it's very different. You see small buildings in some places. You see the palaces there. You see more mosques, maybe. So actually, when my family came here, they said Dubai is very different than Abu Dhabi.
Mm.
Abu Dhabi is more the UAE culture, and Dubai is more like a very big city around the world that could be placed anywhere else in different countries. That's what they said. I don't agree, but that's what they.
So what do you think then?
I mean, I think Dubai is very unique. You cannot transfer Dubai to anywhere else in the world. Everything that you have in Dubai, it belongs to Dubai, and it's only the way it is because it is in Dubai. You know what I mean? It's very confusing what I said, but imagine simply you take Dubai
Oh,
and you
okay.
move to Europe or you move to Singapore. It wouldn't be Dubai. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like the unique elements here make this city the way it is.
The location,
Yeah,
the leaders, all of that.
especially the leadership is amazing, right? So
Okay, yeah, makes sense. So you're saying that when you come to the UAE and if you just go to Dubai Mall, it's, of course you won't see the culture. You need to go to the right places. So one of the places you're saying is Abu Dhabi. Is so you're saying to go outside of Dubai as well to.
yeah, if you want to meet Dubai, if you want to meet Emirati culture, you gotta go to the real places.
Mhm. So then, okay, so then how did you feel about encountering so many expats? Did you know that you would see a lot of Indians and Pakistanis here?
No, because I didn't have time to research or anything. Like I received the email to come here, and then 2 weeks I was here, so it was very fast.
So then how was your reaction to the types of people you saw here?
My reaction to types of people that were here, that can be like put in a very negative way, depending on what I say.
I mean,
You know
anything
what I mean?
negative. That's literally social
No, but
media.
yeah, but what I when I came, I was not aware of what to expect. I didn't know what to expect, to be honest, because it was very fast. I didn't have time to research. I remember until now the thing that I would do is to open Google Maps and Google the place that I would live and the place that I would stay. Like I remember, like I knew the routes since before moving here. But I think that Indians in Dubai is like Mexicans in the US.
Mhm.
Like the same way that have a lot of Mexicans that built the US through the longest time, for construction, for I mean workers and just helping the country. I think South Asians are the same here, not in a good or bad way, simply because you need people to work, and you have a lot of supply in these countries, which and it's very near, right? So I think that's a comparison that I could actually make. The way that Indians are here, Mexicans are in the U.S. And Indians are very important for the UAE in general, right? They are the ones who built this country, literally who built this country. Of course, I don't need to mention, right? I mean, the leaders, the vision, everything was there. You needed that to succeed, but um, these like these people are the ones who actually built the thing, and this place would not be the same without them. So I mean, we need to acknowledge that as well, and a lot of people don't. So
Yeah, I mean that's a very powerful statement because it is true. Like we've mentioned this. South Asian is such a big part of the UAE population. They've contributed significantly to the development of the country. It's a two-way thing.
yeah,
Opened doors and has welcomed South Asians into the country so openly and so happily.
yeah,
It's welcomed these people. Um, and then the Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis who've come to this country, they've also taken the opportunity, you know, wholeheartedly and tried to build the country along,
yeah, exactly.
grow with the country as well. So it's a two-way thing. So thank you very much for being on the show. It was very nice to have you. Very interesting conversations. In the end, we do a little cheers.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. I love this.
Thank you.